Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our backyard. Today I'd like to talk about planters. And it's not going to be a very long video because I don't have a lot of planters that I plant up for the beauty of the flowers, unfortunately. Most of my pots or planters serve a purpose, like this one, which houses one of my native passion vines that I have staked with bamboo stakes and that is now growing onto our trellis. So while even though it is in a pot, the planter itself isn't decorative. What is decorative is what it grows into. And a lot of my planters are like this. But I do have a couple of planters that I did plant up or pot up for decorative purposes. And they're the ones that I can see. The first one I want to talk about is my urn planter. And this has quite a bit of soil in it. And what I did is I planted in the center a Mystic Spires salvia for the thriller. Then I planted a Superbina vista, and this happens to be paradise. It's really a gorgeous, it's probably one of my favorite colors. It is just a bright, warm tone, scarlet almost. It's really hard to describe, and it's hard to actually film because it doesn't show up well on the camera. So I'm going to come around to the other side. And as the filler to this urn, I have a catmint. This kind of finished its flowering. And also a Blew My Mind evolvulus. And I've been really happy with this planter. It is right on cue, the air conditioner. You know, I've been real happy with this planter because I see it from my window, and it also is a pollinator magnet. So I did try to think of my pollinators when I was creating this, and I am pretty happy. The Superbina vista is getting a tad bit leggy, so I'm going to have to come in and probably do some trimming. But that was an attempt at trying to create a planter that wasn't just functional. And I do like it. I will readily admit, though, that I am not a really good design person. The next planter I want to show you is right beside it. And in this planter, I planted another salvia, and this is Rockin' Fuchsia. And I replaced the lobelia. I had a blue lobelia and yellow Bidens in here, and you know, they are at the end of their you know, hot summer was not for them, and so I replaced it with this Terrenia, which I find really interesting, and that is the filler. So this Terrenia had a beautiful flush of blooms on it, and then I planted it, and it is now just starting to flush again. But I'm going to show you its nursery tag. This is called Catalina Grape-o-licious. See if I can focus on this. So it's supposed to, I've never had this before, And it says that the habit is mounding and trailing, so this is good for me for a filler, and it will come out and spill a little bit. And I should have it now till frost, so I guess we'll see. And then on the other side here is the spiller, which is the Dichondra Silver Falls. So while I do like this, and it is another pollinator magnet, it's just okay. So we'll see how this continues to perform during this hot part of the summer. It also is in a pretty tall pot right next to the taller urn. All right, next one. Even though this is a single planting, I really like, it's one of my favorites, and I don't know why, but I purchased this pot, which is a large container, more of a decorative pot. And this caladium that I have in it is a shade caladium that I happen to just love. And like I said, for some reason, I don't know why, but it is a favorite of mine. And I'm going to show you its nursery tag. And this is, like I said, a shade caladium. It's from the Heart to Heart series called Splash of Wine. And its height, they say, is medium, 18 to 24 inches. And that is perfect for back here in my landscape. So I'm going to come around to the other side. It's just tucked in nicely back here, and it is high enough, and it will grow high enough that it's just showy beyond, above these Coleus that are in front of it. So I don't know what it is about this plant, because I'm not particularly a huge caladium fan either. I do like them, but for some reason, maybe it's the coloring of this foliage. It's so vibrant, it's so healthy. For some reason, it just speaks to my heart, and I really like this thing. This planter was somewhat of an experiment for me. I thought, well, maybe this will turn into be a gorgeous planter, but it's really turning to be, for me, it's turning into a pollinator, just a pollinator buffet. So the star of the show really is this Superbina, and it is Superbina Sparkling Amethyst. And I have this near my patio, so it gets full morning sun, bright, beautiful sun, until about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then it is in the shade. And this Superbina has been just gorgeous, and I've had butterflies and bees and hummingbird moths that I mentioned on it, and I'm really, really happy with it. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to bring this Superbina into my garden, and not just in a planter. I did purchase a high planter. It comes up to, it's a pretty good sized planter. But I do want to figure out how to get this in the landscape. And then it probably will overtake the Dragon's Breath Celosia, and then the Salvia grigii that I have over here. I do like this purple salvia. So this one isn't so much as a beautiful planter now as it is functional, but I do really like it. Another single planter that I have is of a Coleus, and this Coleus I think is really striking. It is called Kingwood Torch. It's a sun or shade Coleus, and this one gets some morning sun and mostly some afternoon shade. I really think the leaves on this are striking. Love the scarlet down the center and then the dark leaves, which I like it bookended here in the shade bed. And this one doesn't really qualify, but I do want to show it. It is a raised pot that I have, and I have a volunteer Coleus in it. So it's from one of my Coleus that I had last year that went to seed in the pot. And I do like how this works. So this is in spite of me, I stumbled upon it. I have two different types of sweet potato vine in here. I have the chartreuse color coming out, and then I have the purple that comes down and around. And to me, that is an interesting look. I do like it. So like I said, most of my planters or pots are single function. I do admire those of you that have a flair for creating gorgeous planters though. I hope I can get better and improve because I do like them. So I guess time will tell for me. Anyway, thank you for joining me today as I talked about planters. I hope you all can get in your gardens today and have a good day of gardening. And I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining me.